What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Teofimo Lopez, who calls himself the top dog at 135 pounds, and I have to agree with him. He is a top dog at 135 pounds. He still needs one more belt to become undisputed, despite the claims by him and his dad saying that they're undisputed, and the WBC president Mauricio Suleiman saying that he is the undisputed. He is not the undisputed. He's got one more belt to collect. The WBC champion is Devin the Dream Haney. That's the fight that everybody want to see happen, but it won't happen next because they must fulfill their obligation with the IBF. The IBF is very strict with their guidelines and rules. They will not set that mandatory to the side for a unification matchup to take place. That would be a matchup for undisputed at 135. They will not set that aside for that. They're very strict. So therefore, this fight is going to take place in April or May. And the venue that they're looking at is Marlins Park. That's a new baseball stadium in the home of the Miami Marlins, Major League Baseball team. As you heard a couple of days ago, that's going to be the same location for Canelo Alvarez versus Avril Yildirim. That fight's going to take place February 27th on DAZN and DAZN pay-per-view. This fight was going to take place on ESPN in April or May. Now, May 8th is out of the picture because, again, Canelo Alvarez will be taking on Avril Yildirim on that day. That'll be leading up to the, that'll be right after Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo, I believe, is on that Wednesday, that 5th, and it'll be taking place the weekend after Cinco de Mayo. So basically it'll be Cinco de Mayo weekend for the fight to take place between Canelo Alvarez versus Avril Yildirim, a fight that nobody asked for and nobody really was anticipating happening. Everybody wanted to see him possibly take on a Caleb Plant or a Billy Joe Saunders, or even a Triple G probably would have been a better matchup than Avril Yildirim. But they're going to get the mandatory out the way and then look for fight a world champion at 168 in May and in September, and we'll see how that plays out and how that transpires after he successfully, in my opinion, defeats Avril Yildirim. But as far as Teofimo Lopez goes, he's going to look to take his undefeated record and put it on the line versus George's Kambosos, who got that mandatory position by defeating UK's Lee Selby in a fight that wasn't a lot of action, wasn't the most exciting fight. The fight was the fight before Derek Chisora versus Alexander Usyk. That was the fight that led up to that fight. Basically was a co-main event, and George Kambosos did what he had to do to win that fight. He's a guy with very fast hands, but it seems like he's a guy that's defense is not that great. His footwork is average, but he's a guy that's a decent fighter. Very solid fighter, but it seems like to me if he had a better coaching, he probably could be able to use his skills at a high level, because he definitely has fast hands, but he don't seem like he applies it the right way. But he did enough to get by George Kambosos, but he's going to need to be much better, much more efficient, and much more explosive to defeat a fighter of the caliber of Teofimo Lopez. So we'll see how that fight transpires. As we get closer to that fight, I'll break that fight down in depth, but this video is just about announcing that the fight will take place in April or May, Marlins Park. All they're doing is waiting on the okay from Derek Jeter, who is the president of baseball operations for the Miami Marlins, who has a lot of influence on what events takes place at that new venue, Marlins Park. And they're just waiting on him to give the okay for that fight. And then they'll try to find an open date in the month of April and in the month of May. As we know, May 8th is out of the picture with Canelo versus Yildirim, but they got other weekends in May, and then they've got April, the previous month, to find a date for that fight to take place. But that's the breaking news. Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos will take place in April or May on ESPN. Won't be on ESPN pay-per-view, because the ESPN has really not been doing any pay-per-views here recently, and it won't be on any of that. It'll be on ESPN in April or May for Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. Hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and leave a comment in the comment section, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and let me know your thoughts about this matchup. Do you like this matchup, or do you rather him just give up the IBF title and go ahead and look for bigger fish to fry in fights with Devin Haney and who else you got? Javante Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia seems to be out the picture for right now, but those two fights will be very appealing fights. Got Jojo Diaz. I think he's got a fight coming up in February. Maybe you wait on the winner of that fight. got bigger, those could be better names, better fights potentially? Do you like the matchup between Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos from Australia? Let me know your thoughts. Again, the fight was originally slated to take place in Australia, but due to COVID-19, the fight will not be happening in Australia. So the fight's going to be coming over here to the United States of America, and the venue is Marlins Park in Miami, Florida. They're just trying to secure a date in April or May. Let me know your thoughts, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.